I can't say enough of how this center influenced me and the benefits that my wife got from it. I thought nobody can take care of her like me, and I knew I had to do something for my family. It's in their hearts that they want to provide the care for the people that deserve it here.
Welcome to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller, and my special guest today, John McGraw. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Mike. Good seeing you.
You staying out of trouble?
Most of the time.
Now, I have to ask because somebody asked me, did you play 18 today? Or? Just
Don't I wish.
I know.
You got time afterwards?
Yeah, no, I haven't played for a long time, but yeah, it's good having you here today. It really is, man.
Appreciate being here. Appreciate the opportunity to talk about the Athena Award.
Yeah, we're going to, that's a long-standing award that you've been involved with, where your family's been involved for a long, long time. And so let's just talk, because it's coming up August?
August 28th, we'll have the Athena banquet. We moved it to a separate banquet a number of years ago. It used to be part of the annual Chamber Awards meeting in January, but there was such a positive response regarding the Athena Award that it became its own standalone banquet. We typically will have 130 to 150 people at this dinner. And most of the recipients that are still living here in Lancaster and still alive do come back to this banquet every year, which is a nice thing to see.
Yeah, now this is one of the first or older ones that we had. They've changed this a little bit. There's a different base to it.
Yeah, number of years ago they changed the walnut base to a marble base. The bronze hammered out part of this is still the same, and each one of these sculptures is signed off on by the original artist, Linda Ackley. They're numbered, but as I said, they changed the base to a marble base, just showing the strength, a good foundation for the award.
Yeah, that's really neat. Now, I know it's been, how many years have you been involved in this?
We've been involved, maybe it'll be easier if I go into some history with this, Mike. Back in 1981, in Lansing, Michigan, Martha Mayhood Mertz, who was going to be the Lansing Regional Chamber of Commerce president beginning in 1982, she had gathered some of her supporters together and said, women are a very big part of the economy. They're not only working in it, but they're big purchasers. They aren't getting the recognition that they need. She wanted to do something to help maybe boost that exposure of women. And her group came up with this award. The first one was presented in 1982 by the Lansing Regional Chamber of Commerce. After it was presented, Oldsmobile division of General Motors, which was based in Lansing, Michigan, the only GM division to be outside of Detroit, they thought this award was very worthy of being recognized nationwide. And at that time, there were 3,500 Oldsmobile dealers in the country. So what better way to take this nationally than to go to the Oldsmobile dealers and say, this is an award that we want Oldsmobile dealers to sponsor locally.
Which your family was involved in Oldsmobile dealership.
Correct. We were the Oldsmobile dealer here in Lancaster for 49 years. My dad came here in 1952 and started the dealership. And I'm still very proud to say we are the only former Oldsmobile dealership that has continued sponsorship of this award. When GM decided to phase Oldsmobile division out back in 2001 and take away our livelihood, my family felt so moved to continue supporting this locally in memory of my father,
Sure.
that I actually contacted the Athena Foundation. Actually, I am friends with Martha Mertz, the lady that started
So
this
you've
whole
met
process.
her? Or
I've met her. I've talked to her many times on the phone, and told her that we wanted to continue sponsorship of this, even though Oldsonville Division was going away and GM was going to be backing
Right.
out of sponsorship of it. And she had no problem with that. And since 2001, the Robert D. McGraw family has continued the sponsorship of this award through our Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce. In '84, when Oldsonville started to roll this out through its dealers, in our chamber office was Dave Leisure. I think
Oh
you
yeah,
can
I know
remember
Dave.
him,
Yep.
and Elizabeth Welsh. Those two helped get this off the ground here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. We presented our first Athena Award at the 1985 Chamber of Commerce dinner in January. Jane Jost is the very first recipient of that here in Lancaster.
Another avid golfer.
Yes, yes. Retired individual though.
Yeah.
But we have, this year will mark the 29th consecutive year that we've presented this award locally.
Wow.
And if you look back through the years, the recipients are all so supportive of the community. They are very active in their business world, very successful in their business world. Some are business owners, some are CEOs, some are just hard-working individuals.
Right.
But they have managed to not only be great in their profession, they also have opened doors for other women to advance themselves and gain leadership roles in business and in the community. But these are also individuals that have given back greatly to the community, making Lancaster and Fairfield County a much better place to live in.
I notice you have a list there of,
Yeah.
of all the. I was going to ask you to memorize that, but
Oh, no.
you can. I mean, go ahead and let's talk. I mean, you can just name the people that have won the award, or how.
If you're okay with it,
Yeah,
I'll run through the
absolutely.
list
Yeah,
in the order that they received
Yeah.
it. Of course, Jane Jost, Sue Glab, whose
Right.
award we have here today, who passed away unfortunately, Pearline Reffett, Sally Spangler, Marlena Keynes, Sue Widener, Sue Rowland, Nancy Frick, Carolyn King, Fran Miller, Linda Disbennett, Mina Eubing, Kathy Bittler, Diane Eversole, Jennifer Friel, Joyce Harvey, Sandy Mahalam, Eileen Campetti, Barry Watkins, Mary Gorsuch, Nancy Rozier, Judy Root, Linda Sheridan, Kelly Ailes, Marilyn Clark, Catherine Cheek, Cynthia Pearsall, Penny Wasson. That is as wide a variety as you can expect to see. And if you stop and look around this community, I think you can also say these are individuals that have given back in more ways than we can ever count. But the award itself can be won by women, by men, by organizations, by companies. What they really focus on, they want the award recognizing people that have opened doors for women to become leaders.
Okay.
It's opened doors for women to advance their professional careers, be successful in their careers, but it recognizes also the contributions that these women are giving back to their communities.
Now, is there a nomination process? How does it work that somebody becomes nominated?
The executive committee of the Chamber of Commerce is the deciding board. Usually about 2 months before the banquet, the information goes out as to how you nominate, and they do ask for kind of an overview of what this individual does, how they've given back to the community. Those nominations all come in, and then the executive committee and myself, we meet and review them and discuss it, and out of that.
Is that a lengthy process? I would imagine, knowing John the way I do, that it's going to take some time.
You know, it is very labor intensive because when you go down through this list, you got to remember there's been many, many other individuals nominated that are also very deserving, and we try to narrow it down to
Sure.
that one individual. And it's interesting how the cream does rise to the top, and we've been very blessed in this community
Absolutely.
to have these kind of women.
So after the committee meets, is it then okay? I mean, is it I was going to say, how do you keep it quiet? Is that
When we went to the Athena banquet format, we made it a surprise. Prior to that, when it was with the annual dinner in January, the recipient was notified in advance, which I think gives them a chance to maybe
Sure.
prepare a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's been amazing how we've been able to pull off the surprise each year. I don't think we've had any of them since we've gone to the secret ballot. Any of the recipients actually know that they were going to
Right.
be getting it.
Yeah.
And what's nice, they do make just a quick acceptance speech.
Yeah.
But the following year, they're allowed to make a little presentation and reflect on what the award has
Right.
meant to them and what it was like to be the recipient of it.
That's neat. That is outstanding.
Yeah.
So when they have are there certain point criteria? I mean, do you have to be certain? Talk a little bit about what you look for, because I'm sure people all have different views and ideas.
Well, that was one thing. The Athena Foundation wanted this pretty simple and concise. And the three criteria, and I'll just read right from
Sure.
the manual. Candidates will be rated upon the following criteria. The individual actively assists women in realizing their full leadership potential. This can be in the form of mentoring, providing employment or education opportunities, or any other demonstration of investment in the welfare, professional or otherwise, of women. Second criteria, the individual demonstrates excellence, creativity, and initiative in their business or profession. And the final criteria, the individual provides valuable service by contributing time and energy to improve the quality of life for others in their community. It's pretty basic, but this list,
Right. Exactly. Now, in a normal year, how many nominations will you get? I mean,
I would guess we've probably averaged 6 a year.
that's quite a bit.
And it's interesting too, some of the recipients will maybe start appearing one year and it's 3 or 4 years down the road before they finally are selected. And once again, I can't stress it enough, these are the recipients that I mentioned,
Right.
but there are many, many deserving women and companies and organizations in this community that have opened doors for women in this community. And I think we all can look around and say Lancaster, Ohio has been blessed with these women because they have contributed economically,
Sure.
business-wise, community-wise.
Can you remember the first time you fully understood what the Athena Award was?
You know, when I first met with Dave Leeser and Elizabeth Welsh to discuss the potential of this being something that McGraw-Olsonville would support through the chamber, it was pretty clear then what women were contributing to the world of business, the economy, as peer groups, whatever. I think I was fortunate. I had the foresight of my father to also, because he was always an avid supporter of making sure our dealership stepped up to women coming in. The car industry has never been known for its warmth to women coming in, whether it's a service department or buying a car. And that was changing ever so quickly back then. And my father had the foresight to make sure our service department stepped up and handled women properly. Our sales force stepped up and handled women buying vehicles properly. So I was fortunate that way. And our Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce has made it easy for us to continue this award at the highest level. Travis Markwood has done a tremendous job in the last few years helping this grow as a standalone banquet, and I do appreciate all his efforts that way too.
Do you get calls from other people asking about the Athena Award, or, I mean, gee, we're thinking about doing this, and tell us a little bit about it? I mean,
in the early years, because we were one of the first Oldsonville dealers to sign up for this program nationwide, I talked to a number of Olds dealers about what the award, first of all, means to the community, and then what it does mean to an Oldsonville dealership. And for a few years, we even helped sponsor the award in Pickerington, Ohio. And they have since been able to go on their own with it. So I feel good about that, that we were able to grow it that much more. But to this day, I can still, once a year, I'll get a call or a letter from somebody that we had talked to maybe years ago about this award, and you know, they're just kind of rehashing some of the good memories, and it's been well received in every community that it's gone into.
The when you talk with the people that come back to the banquet, and I mean, is it's got to be like a big sorority, I guess would be the
it's a little club. I think these women all recognize the challenges that they face being women in the economy, in the business community. I think there are a lot of trials and tribulations that only they can appreciate and understand, and they are very supportive of one another. And I think there's networking that goes on with this group. And this group, I mentioned in here about mentoring and providing employment. Boy, I look at some of these names in here. These people have been instrumental in other women taking charge and getting into fields where they didn't think they could make it, and they did make it. Several women have been instrumental in getting women to continue with their education, getting their degrees. So you know, it's a clique, a good clique.
Do you think that eventually there may be I'm going to throw this out just because it's Taylor Chevrolet, but I mean another automotive group would pick this up and go with it, like Chevrolet and itself, or I mean, is this? You
know, with the challenges of a car industry,
which you've been in for how long now?
Oh golly!
I mean, I know I bought some car years ago, so
40 plus years.
Yeah, so
fortunate that I grew up in the business, had an opportunity to start working for my father, even in my early teens. Wouldn't trade that for anything. You know, this award, I think, has gotten so big it is standalone. It doesn't need any national support from a company. It's amazing how many of these are awarded each year, and they're awarded here in the U.S., in Europe. I believe China has even awarded some of these too. So it's gone global. But I would be more than happy to have General Motors come back in the picture on this.
Oh, absolutely. When you first talk with the winner, whoever will win it this year, I mean, is it disbelief? I mean, or is it, oh yeah, I would have voted for my best friend? I mean,
you know, it's always overwhelming to them. It is disbelief because they will, typically the recipients will name right off the bat 2 or 3 other people that are probably more deserving in their minds than they are. And it's interesting, a lot of times the other people that get named as maybe being more deserving by a recipient were probably some of the ones on the list that we were trying to decide about.
When you first looked at the award, and it developed over the years, when you talk with people outside of it that don't know anything about it, and they say, "Well, tell me about this." What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I mean, not one word, but if somebody said, "Well, describe Athena," what does that mean?
I think the easiest way is it recognizes those women or groups or organizations that do work hard at opening doors of opportunity for women in business. From there, those women or organizations become very motivated. They excel in their field, but then they also recognize that they can excel in their field, in their community, but they also need to give back to that community. And they do try to make where we live and work a much better place. As that criteria says, it's not real involved, but it challenges women. And you can't say enough about the recipients of this award. They have paid their dues in more ways than one, and yet they continue to give back to their profession and their community. It isn't like they think their job's done.
Yeah, it's over with. And we talked about the timetable. When do the nominations start? I guess that would take us from the start date up to the award.
We'll probably, the chamber will send out notices, I would think, around the 1st of July, and that we would like to have the nominations back in then by the end of July, the 1st of August.
And is the nomination form a 5-page document, or does it have to be a certain length?
About 2 pages, and if anybody is wanting that nomination form, they just need to contact the Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce. They have the form there for them. It asks about the individual. What is their job? What have they accomplished with it? How do they give back to the community? And most of the time, you have to have a few more typewritten pages added to it because these people are typically involved so much in the community and their job. And you got to remember, a lot of these are mothers and have families too, so throw that in the mix. These are very busy individuals.
Someone asked me, do they have to be a resident of Fairfield County, the award winners?
They wouldn't have to be a resident.
Okay.
What we're looking at, though, are the individuals that have made Lancaster and Fairfield County a better place to live and work.
Okay.
So, and we do have people that would commute in to Lancaster and contribute heavily that way.
I know I'm trying to think of the terminology, but when you do the nominations and then you have the committee that meets, and then the awards, which are going to be at Lancaster Country Club.
Correct.
And that'll be August
28th.
August 28th. Can people buy tickets to go to that?
Yes.
Or is that just How do they do?
Once again, just through the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce. Travis Markwood would be more than happy to help them.
I just saw Travis this morning when I went in to pick up the statue, and he asked me what I was doing. And I said, "I'm going to meet John."
It's
said,
okay.
It's all right.
It's in good hands.
Yeah, it's in good hands. You'll get it back. Don't worry. But it's amazing how this has lasted so many years to do this. I think that's what, as I talk to people, and I've talked to, well, not all the winners, but most of them sometime, and they're all very, very proud of it.
Well, as I said, the Robert D. McGraw family is very proud to be the sponsor of this award. The Chamber has my family's commitment that we will continue sponsoring it. We just thought a lot of it when it first came out, and as that list of recipients grows, these people contribute heavily to this community, and they should be recognized.
I just thought of another question. One asked about the resident, the other asked about age limit. Is there an age? And I said, I don't know. I'm going to talk to John. I'll find out. I mean, do they have to be 21? Do they have to? I mean,
no age requirements.
That's good to know.
One of the few things.
One of the few things that we don't have to do. But well, it just I know it. You spend a lot of time doing this, and the community really appreciates it. I mean, they just.
Well, the community has made it easy for my family to do this, Mike. As I said, my family was the Olds dealer for 49 years in Lancaster. My dad came here from Urbana, Ohio, knew no one, and this community welcomed him. It provided my family a very good livelihood for the 49 years. One, we were selling a very good product in Oldsmobile, even though they're gone now. But this community made it easy for my family to give back. And I've said it before that I don't think we can ever repay Lancaster and Fairfield County for everything that they've given the McGraw family over the years. So we are more than happy to continue the sponsorship of this award.
Well, we appreciate everything you do for the community and all the time and effort that you put into things. And I know you're busy all the time. We're working all the time, but we do appreciate you stopping by and giving us an update. And I can't wait to hear the winner of this year. I mean, it's a tough list. That is a tough list.
The bar keeps getting raised.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. The bar keeps going up. But again, we appreciate everything you do. And maybe we get some time to go out and hit the golf ball again.
Time to get off. What time we finish taping here?
We're going to be done in just a few seconds. But I do appreciate one more time, the nominations are to the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce.
Correct.
And you have to go pick them up. They won't. There's an email. Or
I think you can go online and get that information, Mike.
All right.
And the banquet will be August the 28th at the Lancaster Country Club.
Well, John, again, we appreciate everything that you do and all the stuff that you've done for Lancaster and Fairfield County over the last so many years.
I had color in my hair.
That's I was just talking to somebody before I got here. They looked and said, "How old are you?"
Well, the McGraw family appreciates you taking the opportunity to allow us to highlight this award and point out all these deserving recipients over the years.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thanks again, John. We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. And remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.
When it comes to choosing a school, parents who want the best education for their students look for academic excellence, skilled teachers, a safe school that encourages their values. Students want a school with competitive athletics, unique opportunities, and friendships that last a lifetime. Fairfield Christian Academy, the place where parents and students agree. Enrolling now at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.